Greetings, gamers, and welcome to the 247th live stream from the Misfit Gamer Studios. I am your host, Vortex, and this is D&D Discussions. On today's episode, we have one of the first subclasses coming from Hecate from their brand new Necromancer base class. I'm really excited to see this. We gave it a 10, or I'm sorry, I gave it an 8 out of 10. Last time we actually reviewed the base class, thought it was fantastic. There was a few things that I would have to change to make it, exactly fit for High Point, but it was really, really good. I thought it was close to what I think a Necromancer should be, which is why I got the 8 out of 10. And now we finally get to see the first subclass, so I'm really excited to see what they have in store for us. This one is called the Gravebound Sovereign. Let's find out what that means. And of course, let's get Kage in here. There we are. Bam.
Boom, boom.
Fantastic. All right. So I'm really interested to see this particular one. I just, reviewed quickly the previous subclass of the base class is a magic user. It is a full caster. Full caster all the way to 9th level, starting at 17th level, you get 9th level spells. This is also similar to a full casting sorcerer though, because you also get the spirit points and the deathcraft options, which we kind of related to. Was that meta magic? Was that sorcerer's meta magic is kind of what we related it to? Or what was that? There was a similar mechanic. Okay. Because the spirit points are things that you're able to utilize like key points or sorcery points and use up in the moment. But then there were deathcraft options, which are the things you can choose to do with those points. If I remember correctly.
Yes, those are like the meta magic options you have. Yes,
right.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, Deathcraft started at level 2. You get a number of options, and these were all of like the crazy abilities that you could do that weren't necessarily spelled, but the pure necromantic abilities that you got. And then you just got to do a couple more things with the undead, and then eventually you cap out. What up, yo? Subscription. Well, who was that? Fucking cart, what up? Thank you so much. 19. You are 5 months away from getting another mark around your name, like you need another one. But you get the outline, not the big old crazy thing, but you get your name rewritten. I think Soul has 1 month. I think Soul is next month. Will get their second outline. Second? Soul will get their second outline next month, and then wait, no, or is that Hecate? Hecate or Soul gets theirs next month, and I think 2 months after that, the other one gets it, because they're only like a month or two off.
Oh, I got you.
But because they're both equal up here. They both have one outline. But I know one of them is like at 23 months at the beginning of this month. So they're just like 2 weeks away from another one. It's crazy how we're filling up that wall. But Cart, thank you so much. Appreciate you. At least you wait a little bit into it before it happens, unlike Soul, who's just automated right when no one's here. Just playing with you.
Hey man, that's probably what mine does too. I'm not even gonna lie.
Just messing with y'all. And then yes, also, not only did you get to Capstone, I thought I fixed that, damn it. My bad. The delay in the alert. I thought I fixed that. Apparently I didn't. I will have to figure out what's going on there. Excuse me. But the capstone for the base class was becoming a full lich, which was great. I think that was really cool with the base class.
That's right. I remember that.
Before that, you were able to summon a bone dragon.
Yeah.
That was the secondary capstone.
Activities. Yeah.
So full caster with sorcery meta magic like abilities was the base class for the Necromancer, and capped out at becoming a lich at 20th level. At 18th, you were able to summon a bone dragon, and then basically everything in between that was what level of undead you can actually control. So that's the base class that we're working with, and today we get to see the first subclass of, I think, 4?
3.
So I mean, all right. So 3. All right, and then this one is the Gravebound Sovereign. So like right off the top of my head, I'm just thinking with like Gravebound Sovereign, I don't want to say that I'm expecting like fresh, like it's not like fresh corpses, but I am expecting this to be the more classical D&D skeleton puppeteer. Like when we're thinking Gravebound Sovereign, I'm thinking less flesh, less zombie, less corpsey, and more bones. Like that's just, I don't know why. Because and
More
again,
skeleton than zombie. Okay.
yes, more skeletons and zombie, and the main reason for that is just Gravebound Sovereign. So they could be fresh, but you're thinking in the grave, you're thinking that they've decayed, but we're not thinking like zombie with partial flesh, right? We're talking about like they've been in the ground for a minute and you're taking them up. So I'm hoping, or I'm not hoping, it's inspiring me or making me think something along the lines with bones. Being around graveyards, being able to summon things, from the depths. And with that, and the reason why I'm kind of hoping that a little bit too is coming from second edition, skeletons were so fucking scary. Like skeletons are legit scary. I don't even know what they are in fifth edition. I don't even know if skeletons are that concerning, but there were levels of skeletons and it was just they got scary to fight, especially at anything under 10th level. It was there was a couple of them that's
and I this is probably just my lack of experience, but I will say at the very least in 5th edition, like I've come up against like undead, but like I've never really felt like the gravity of the situation, if you know what I mean. It's like, when you come like face to face with a dragon for the first time, you're like, holy shit, like I'm fighting a dragon right now. I've never felt that when it comes to undead before now, and that's maybe because I haven't like either understood or felt or experienced the severity of how scary undead can really be, because there's definitely undead out there that like take your overall strength points, that lower your hit point maximum, that can in further editions back you could literally take levels from people. Like that's some like scary ass shit. Like you do not want to fuck with that. Now again, I don't know how many of those are like skeletons or versus zombies specifically, but I don't know. I kind of yearn for an experience like that, like because I think that is very much like akin to like what it should feel like, playing D&D. Like you want to be able to be like, oh, yeah, that's a freaking dragon. Like I don't know if you've ever seen the anime Frieren, but there's this kid that like fights a dragon for the first time in there, and it was one of those experiences like, oh my gosh, this is like, yes, we're powerful, but also we're in this very impressive world.
Nice. Yeah, so just like the OG skeletons weren't that bad, right? They were 1 hit point, I think 7 AC, no biggie, right? Like even if your THAC0 was 10, I mean, you had to roll a 3 or higher. Sure. I mean, they're dumb easy to hit. But then you had the variations. Like when it got into the variations, that's where it got scary. I mean, skeleton archers alone did 1d6 magical fire damage. Just the archers, just first level. Skeletal archers, 1d6 magical fire damage. They carry 20 arrows each. And here's the beautiful part about the variations. Most of the variations came with a special little quirk, a special little feature, right? If they weren't the base skeleton, that if they miss and survive a save versus crushing blow, this is badly put. This is someone trying to reference it. Because again, I can't find any of the original books right now. So if there was a save that they had to make in order, because you basically had to like crush them, because like you chopped off their arm, they would still be animated. You basically had to like shatter them or explode them. So bludgeoning damage. Think about that. But they had a save versus crushing. Like they had to save. There was a save for that. If they succeeded in that, like if you like destroyed them, but they saved versus it, they would actually respawn as 2. So
2 full?
Yeah. So basically they would multiply There were certain ones that would multiply.
Specifically failed to save. Yeah, you killed them, but now there's 2 more.
Yeah, some of them would only reconstitute themselves, but there were higher versions that would.
Yeah, that's
duplicate.
absolutely scary.
So that's scary. You have the archers that, again, if you catch these at level 1, or I mean not level 1, but if you catch these at an early level, like you don't have magical resistance just yet. So 1d6 fire damage, but it's magical damage. You're not, doesn't matter what you chose as your race, you're taking that damage. There was blood skeletons. And they regenerate all damage upon being destroyed in 1 round. So those are the ones that will fully regenerate themselves no matter what. So fully damaged and fully destroyed, 1 round later, they're back up.
And is there like a specific way, like separating their bones or like something like that?
The only way to
body parts.
The only way to permanently down them is by magical means. So unless you can deal magical damage, any physical damage will just break them apart, but then they'll reform 1 round later. And I think it's for them. I think it's actually magical spells. I don't even think you can do it with magical weapons. I think you actually had to use like something like Shatter. You actually had to use a magical aspect, not just a magical weapon.
Could you like trap them in a container, like a cage or something? Like you get an entire round to move their corpse like into somewhere and then like trap.
They would just reform in the cage, and then you would be able to trap them.
Okay. So there's like ways to deal with them, but they're very annoying and very much undying unless you have some magical something at your fingertips.
Mm-hmm. Other skeletons would explode when you killed them.
That's just crazy.
So just doing AoE damage. There were giant skeletons.
I do feel like the exploding is a little bit more of a zombie trait I would associate than a skeleton trait. Like,
anyway, this is just shrapnel.
Have it anywhere. Yes, that's fair. That's very fair.
Giant skeletons were kind of scary. They had a little bit. They were a little bit beefier.
Fair.
Yeah. So that's just a few of them. And then again, there was tons and tons more. But yeah, skeletons could get crazy. Not just the base skeleton. Skeletons could get dangerous, which is why I kind of get excited. I'm like, okay, I could be down for a skeleton necromancer.
I think that would be cool. It gives me that puppeteer vibes, man. I think that's way cool.
All right, well, let's find out. Let's see exactly what Hecate actually built this for, and we'll see if the assumptions are correct. All right, so today we have the Gravebound. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I said the Gravebound Sorcerer before. We have the Gravebound Sovereign. This is a necromantic tradition from the brand new Necromancer class from Hecate, as seen here. And so this is the very first of 3 subclasses that we will be reviewing. And of course, as always, we will start with the description. Oh man, I didn't grab a water. I'll do that after the description. A king must have subjects, and death is the most loyal of all. As a Gravebound Sovereign, you command not just the dead, but the very essence that binds bone and soil. You forge powerful bonds with your creations, granting them fragments of your will and ensuring their undying loyalty. Okay, so gives me already that we're in the right vein.
Okay.
Let me see here real quick. Let me do this. Yeah, that's the. All right, there we go. So quick little rundown of the primary class that we got. It is a spellcaster, as we mentioned before. It was able to, by second level, have those special abilities called Deathcrafts, which would use spirit points right here. So Deathcraft abilities used by spirit points. There was quite a bit of them. A lot of them either did necrotic damage or... Yeah, I think a lot of them were dealing or preventing necrotic damage. Soil instead of soul. Did I say soil?
Allowed you to change the damage type from what was it? From whatever it was to necrotic, I think.
Yeah. Good catch, Hecate. So I said, but the very essence that binds bone and it says bone and soul, but I said bone and soil.
Oh,
Because
that's so wild.
I was so
swear I heard
into.
soul. Because I was reading along with you as you were going through it. That's crazy.
I think I actually like read soil in my head too. All right, so yeah,
That's
so
funny.
you get a bunch of these necrotic abilities, then your you get your necromantic tradition, which is what we're going to go over right now. After that, you were able to seize creatures of a certain CR based on your level. You got a bunch of aspects. You basically became undead. Then you got, and then you got a couple extra options for being able to control undead for a certain amount of time. Then you got your bone dragon. Then you became a lich. So
got you. Bone Dragon 18, Lich is at 20.
All right. So with this one, this is pointing us to, powerful bonds creations. So initially, I'm going to say that this one is probably going to lean more towards abundance of summons and less being super powerful. That's kind of what I feel, right? That's just my first initial reaction. Is that
more summon focus?
Yeah, because the main necromancer class was just about how you are gonna be, but you also had ability to control.
Right.
And we were wondering, like, well, how do we amass an army? I think this one's gonna be quantity over quality in terms of the summonings. I think this might be our general of 1,000 skeletons, whereas the other ones may be more specific. But I could be wrong, so I'm really curious. Let me go grab a water real quick, and yeah, we'll continue.
I'm excited to see if that's the direction it ends up going. Because I definitely like the idea. Like, I don't know how easy and or hard it would be to like run something like this, but I would love it if like someone could just like have waves and waves and waves of zombies, like literally running around with like an absolute army of skeletons. You said the irony of that statement. Oh, that's funny. I don't know
Which statement
exactly that was connected to. It was probably something towards the last of what you were talking about having an army of skeletons. But Hecate thinks that's going to be a little ironic, so I'm excited. We'll see how this goes.
All right, well, let's start with level 3. So, Relic of the Grave. As you select this, you can you craft a magical relic, a ring, amulet, or charm that links your soul to one undead under your control. Now, quick recap here. This isn't a base class, so we're not just going to remember things. So, sure. You're a necromancer, you get spell casting, you get spirit points, you get deathcraft abilities, blah, 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 a bunch of necromantic stuff. 3rd level, you get your tradition. Yep. So, at this point, 5th level is you can seize the will of of undead creatures as an action. Target must make a wisdom saving throw. You attempt to dominate an undead creature you can see within 60 feet. You extend spirit points based on the CR. That's 5th level. So I just want to point out at this stage, 1st level, we get 2 cantrips and a spell. 4th level, or by 3rd level, we get 2 cantrips, 4 first and 2 second. So unless there are spells within 1st and 2nd level that summon undead, this says a undead under your control. So it right now, once you choose this subclass, like at level 3, that would have to come from a spell, because we have yet to for the next 2 levels we can't take over undead as a base ability.
Interesting.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you need a way to get undead to control. So creating this thing that's going to be linked to one of their souls, you'll have to have a way to create an undead for it. So unless this class gives you a way to create something now, we're probably gonna have to rely on because there's no second level spell. The first one that I can think of is at least a third level. Where's my
So Hecate,
list?
first point that I would point out, and I don't know if that was just oversight because these things take a while to build, and it's been a while since you may have like connected them. But unless you can let me know if I'm missing a specific thing, unless there's there is one with homebrew
an
spell.
additional ability.
Okay, in the homebrew spell list. So there is a homebrew spell list that goes along with this.
Okay.
That you can summon an undead at that early stage.
Oh, interesting. I don't
think we have access to it yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's probably in one of the things that was submitted. Because didn't Hecate also submit a bunch of spells? Hold on, let me look.
So, my advice for that Hecate, if you want this to just be something that you're going to build for your own setting, that's fine, and you have the spell for it. But if you are interested in looking at this as something that other people can use, which I would highly suggest you approach this with, because I get this is something that 5th edition needs, is something like Necromancer class. I would look at that as potentially an issue, because that would basically require the DM to take the homebrew spell as well. So one thing I would suggest is maybe giving the base class a undead companion that you can have that basically works like an undead, like an unseen servant. Basically give them an undead version.
Familiar, kind of.
Yeah, just something super basic. It has it has super stupid AC, like super.
I mean, it could basically be like a find familiar, but a zombie instead. You know what I mean?
Because does this have? Yeah, because I don't think we get a find familiar. Yeah. So I would just say do something like that, because I just see that as a potential issue if it does require that spell, or make sure that spell that you have is given to the necromancer by default. Like, one of those, one of those things that say like this is included on, this is not included on top of like the necromancer spells that
actually.
Because again, it just without it really, again, it's that one of those detriments of I have an ability that I can't use for 2 levels unless I have that spell. So I would just shoehorn that spell in either at the top of this subclass or into the base necromancer class and guarantee that this ability has the chance to work. Because that would be even perfect, right? Even if like the base necromancer got that spell as a free, like you can cast this once per day, and it doesn't count against your necromancy spells, giving that to just the necromancer, so at any point any class can just summon one, and then things like this would be like a
so here's what Hecate sent over, if you're down with me reading this real quick. Absolutely. This is what the spell is. So this is Animate Lesser Undead. It's a 1st level necromancy spell. Casting time is 1 minute, so it's not something you're going to be doing in the middle of combat. Its range is 10 feet, and its components are verbal, somatic, and material, which is a small bone. The duration is 4 hours. You animate a small or medium humanoid corpse or a pile of bones, raising it as either a skeleton or a zombie, your choice. Using their respected stat blocks, the undead remains under your control for 4 hours or until destroyed, after which it collapses into a lifeless corpse. At higher levels, when you cast this spell using a spell slot of 2nd level or higher, you can animate an additional undead per slot above 1st.
Okay. So yeah, if that's the case, then I would and what level of spell is that? What's that considered?
That's a 1st level. So my question would be, if I cast it again, could I just keep the same one animated already? Or would I have to like basically start over and just recast it on a new set of bones?
Gotcha. All right, so this is more meant for a custom campaign. So yeah, so I guess that if you're taking this, then you would be basically taking that spell as well. So they would go hand in hand no matter what. But if you're gonna do that, I would say it does kind of feel bad that I'm forced to burn one of my options for a spell. if it's kind of required to like use one of my abilities, you know what I mean? Like again, I would say it should just come as like free once per day.
Oh, you mean like when you're? Yeah,
Yeah, like taking this
Sure.
subclass, I get it once per day for free, and if I want to cast it again, then I have spell slots for it. But to have an ability that requires me to like have that one particular spell, just I don't know, to me doesn't sit quite right. It's like again, maybe it's because it's a prerequisite that 5th edition. I'm just not used to having 5th edition having prerequisites. Like because I'm thinking about it from like high point of view. Like yes, there are certain things that you have to know to become certain things. Like you can't just become a high point warlock, just if you want to, right? There's like a whole concept that you have to learn from it. So it's like I'm not against prerequisites, but I think it's because it's in 5th edition that I'm just naturally like that doesn't sound right to have to require them to have that spell. But fundamentally, it's not a problem. So again, not a problem for the custom realm. Just difficult to see that as a 5th edition concept, but again, it's not like I'm against it. So to recast
Sure.
over
No,
over
I
undead.
I get
as
that.
long as- Oh, okay. So it's like a re-up, right? Yeah, you can just keep recasting.
That was my
it.
question.
Yeah.
I was like, can you just keep this thing live or whatever? But okay.
See, that would be like, let's see. I'm really curious. What were the spirit points when you finish a long rest? Okay, it's only a long rest. Never mind. It would be interesting, like, if the upkeep was tied into the spirit points.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, 5e does not do anything. That's why we wanted a class fully dedicated to necromancy, because it really does need like its own,
Absolutely.
it needs a new
Absolutely.
spell list for sure. Okay, cool.
And I'm
So,
well,
so assuming that you have that
there's
spell,
demonic spells, but
assuming that you have that spell, that will be the way that you're able to get a undead under your control. So assuming that you've done that, then you also have this ability, Relic of the Grave, that you can attune that particular undead under your control to this item. So as an action, you can attune the relic to one undead under your control. Attuning to a new undead breaks the previous bond. Only one Relic of the Grave can exist at a time. Which totally makes sense. Shared Vitality. When you regain hit points from a spell or class feature, your attuned undead regains half as many hit points, rounded down, if it's within 60 feet of you. Okay.
Cool.
I'm not
I like that.
Gravesight as an action.
I would say that's great because it's so hard for undead to regain any hit points. So if your undead go down to half hit points, you can't just cast a healing spell on it. So like giving it some way to heal, I think that's so cool. I think that's very cool.
Gravesight as an action you perceive through your undead senses. While doing so, you're blind and deaf to your own surroundings. I much prefer, that like the full trance or like the full movement of your consciousness. I actually like that.
That's some fun familiar type stuff, so I like that.
Voice of the Master, you can speak through your attuned undead in your own voice.
Cool.
So I know it's probably intended to be that way, but I would almost just say just add the word choose, or add the words choose to. You can choose to speak, because I would love to hammer home I don't have to. Like I could speak and be anonymous, right? Like I could just do that thing where I talk to random people and it's always just an undead gurgly voice. But then when it's my party, I want them to know, hey guys, it's me. Don't worry about it. It's me. It's Messenger. Like big difference that, so I would just like if you just said you can choose to speak with your own voice. That would be a small little change I would make.
I'm curious how you would play it if you like put like a robe and like a mask over this person and then they like walked in like with your party as you, but like you're not actually there.
Yep,
you know what I mean?
100%. I see where you're going with it with the voice.
Yeah, and you just talk and anybody asks you a question, you can answer the question, all this, that, and the third.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. That's powerful, man. That's powerful, man.
Oh, I just thought of something evil. You want like an idea of what evil looks like in High Point? Is like So you have someone really important, you know. Doesn't necessarily have to be royalty, but you think immediately royalty because that's usually like a big like hoopla or something like this. So you take royalty, right? Let's say you have like one of these necromancers close enough to them, just to be in their general vicinity. And let's say they finally pass, and it's going to be the big morning ceremony, right? It's going to be the big, you know, everyone comes to pay their respects. Imagine you do this, take the corpse over during that procession, and then you just sit there and listen to everybody's confessions. You know, all of those people that want to say their final words that just don't think that anyone's going to listen.
That's true.
But they feel like they have to get it off.
That's true.
You could just sit there and just...
That's true.
And you could just be sitting there writing it, like just sitting there, just like with a pen and paper in front of you. You can't see, but you know, you like...
Oh, really?
Devious. Devious, my friend.
Is that so? Shit. That's crazy,
I mean,
bro.
How many apologies, how many threats, how many people would say things that they think they can get away with? That's,
dude,
again, evil.
Admitting to being the one that killed you in the first place without realizing it. Like, oh yeah, I was the one that poisoned you in the first place. So you thought you were sick on accident. Nah, man, that was me. I planned that. And now you in the grave, bro.
Or someone saying like a code word, you know, like as, out of respect, they say like a code word or a phrase, or it gives them away from being in like a certain society, or they're like, you know, they know each other, or you know, like that person that was always close to the king and no one ever knew why, and then you finally hear him be like, you know, it's like, you know, they like call him like their brother or something, and so it's like they're the real king, but they were always trying to hide it, or just like there's so many plot hooks that you could unveil with that.
Yep.
Oh, devious
so
though.
Cool. That's
so devious to play off of that. Fake your own voice speaking through the undead.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be
I can make my voice sound like a bunch of different things that it really isn't. So why couldn't I? I mean, just while talking through my.
I don't know if 5th edition has it, but there used to be a proficiency for not only ventriloquism, so you could just like throw your voice. But then there was also, I think like voice acting or something. There was like, there was a way that, you could like mimicry, like you could actually mimic other people's voices if you've heard it enough. So you could like basically sound like anyone you wanted with this corpse. All right. So Gravesite, Voice of the Master, I think are good. I like that they're also different, as in it doesn't seem like they have to work at the same time. Like most likely you'll want them to work at the same time, but it doesn't have to.
Oh, so, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So like, let's say you know, you're the rogue, you're not the rogue doing this, but let's say like you're trying to be sneaky, right? You leave everybody behind with the corpse and you try to get through a certain area, let's say, because, you know, no one questions you. And then you can just talk back to them, letting them know what's going on through your corpse without having to like lose your eyesight and lose your hearing.
You know what I kind of want with this? A little bit of like puppetry, in the sense that like I could almost control its movement so it doesn't like move. Like I can give it like mannerisms and different elements like that. So it like I could pass things off a little bit more. Like maybe not like fully like I'm walking you step by step, like I have to move my body to move your body. I would like that later. Like,
I would like more control as we go. That would be kind of nice, right? Like I like this as the beginning, but I do think that being able to...
That's very fair.
Yeah. Being able to have a full puppeteer moment, though, where you can control it like as your own, like exactly, and mimic your movements. Yeah, I think there's a value to that. Almost kind of like making your own Echo Knight. Like you're just like, it could basically like, you could attack through it. Yeah. Like you could use your action to attack through it fully, as long as it has like a similar weapon to you. Like there's some cool things that you could have fun with if that were to upgrade.
Dude, that would actually be very interesting. Yeah.
But we're not a fighter. We are a spellcaster, so we do have spell reflection.
That's right. We're freaking wizards, man.
Yeah.
We don't really mess around like that.
When you cast a spell that targets only you, you can also have it affect the attuned undead. If it's within 30 feet, the spell does not restore hit points, and the spell can affect undead. So it says that you can also have it. That's interesting. I'm curious in what situation you would want it to also, instead of say instead of you. You know what I'm saying? Because this one is it can't restore hit points. It has to be able to affect undead. But why would you want something that is going to affect you to also
maybe something that gives you temporary hit points. You both get temporary hit points. Maybe something like Sanctuary. Maybe something like
because my mind goes to like this was the idea of like you could basically just be like, oh no, you're taking the damage, not me. That's what I shield, haste, polymorph. Interesting. I don't know if I like that actually.
Polymorph. Ooh.
Yeah.
Polymorph is crazy.
I could understand like spell deflection where like it takes it, not you, because I mean it has so few hit points, it's most likely gonna like die after one, so it's kind of like a free shield. But yeah, having it basically double a spell's effect, especially if it's intended for like bonuses.
So I'll say this. I would change one word in there. And I would change, well, it would be more than one word, but I would say instead of something that targets only you, I would say a spell with a target of self. Because that makes a huge difference. A huge difference. There are certain spells that require touch to cast, which is very different than a spell that targets self. A spell that targets self can only target self. So let me see if I can find some really good examples. I think Shield is a good example. Shield only ever targets yourself. I wish I could just pull up a list of.
I mean, I don't know. Again, there's polymorph self. That's
Is that a different spell?
Well, it used to be there was polymorph self and polymorph other, and then in true polymorph there used to be.
Oh yeah, there's definitely true polymorph and polymorph, but I think they just changed that to a touch spell. So it's like I can touch myself or I can touch another willing creature.
Yeah.
Theoretically, I can touch an unwilling creature too. Mirror image, that's another great example.
Yeah, but these are like, it's the doubling of a spell's effect. I mean, I know it's only like, a small thing that you're doing it to, right? But it's still the representation of what that's actually accomplishing. And again, mirror self, that's now 4 things on the battlefield. Like, it looks like you've now went from 2 to 3.
Well, the effect is it just makes one person harder to hit, but it's a really good effect.
That's okay. So, I'm thinking about I'm thinking about a different spell. You're right. I was thinking about something else that actually gives you the 2 locations. But yeah, so it's difficult for me, especially right, at this early. Like I get it, and I wouldn't mind it as a level up. I don't know if I'd be ready for it at level 3. But I do like what you're saying is starting if it starts with self, like self only spells and then upgrades, I could get more behind it.
Sure.
So yeah, maybe self-targeting
at
3
later levels. Yeah. Cool.
I do like though that it does have a rate, that it has a distance. And that it has the limitations of not restoring hit points, so you can't just, funnel healing spells through the both of you.
Right.
And that it's limited to the spells that can affect undead. So that's also really nice. It's just, I'd like to see some limitation before it gets this powerful. And then 3rd level is capped off with Relic Sacrifice. If you're attuned undead, oh my gosh. If your attuned undead would be reduced to 0 hit points, you can destroy the relic as a reaction. When you do, the undead drops to 1 hit point instead and is immune to all damage and conditions until the end of its next turn. The relic can be recreated during a long rest.
Okay. Interesting. If you really like your boy and you want to save him real quick, or at least give him another chance to survive.
So how long originally did because this could be used for anything under your control, not just specifically from that spell. But that spell give you what, 4 hours?
Well, no, this can only be used on the one it's attuned to, right?
No, I'm just talking about the summoning of the creature. Like getting the creature in the first place was that special spell gave it to you for 4 hours at a time.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So, and it gave you what, a base zombie or a base skeleton?
Yes, one or
And
the other. You can choose.
And those have what, like less than 10 hit points?
Yeah,
They're like super squishy, right? So what I would
very squishy, super AC.
what I would be okay with, because I know it technically can get healed if you heal yourself, but this almost, if I'm gonna like burn the whole relic for the rest of my day, right? If I'm just done with it, I wouldn't mind if it said that, you know, if your attuned undead would be reduced to 0 hit points, destroy the relic. When you do, the undead is brought back up to full for 1 minute, and then it will be destroyed. So essentially, reset. Now you reset its timer. It will be alive for 1 more minute, but now it's at full health. So it can help you with the rest of combat, but basically at the end of combat, it's gone. I would like that more than bringing my guy up to 1 hit point, because I'm going to lose him anyway, right? I'm going to lose him within 4 hours. Even if I like assume I just got him and then we go into battle and this happens,
So
I would lose him in 4 hours anyway. So I'd much rather get more out of him in a much shorter time frame than get to 1 hit point and then maybe turn the tide of battle, and then he has 1 hit point, but being able to get him back up to full for a minute,
So
I
you
think
can
just
always
feels better.
recast him. You can always recast him with a spell slot so that he doesn't go away. If this is one of those things where you're trying to, like, say you're just one of those characters, like, hey, I want my zombie like with me at all times. Like, like I need my boy with me, right? Like, we're ride or dies like that. Like, that's my main focus. Like, I can understand somebody wanting to like sacrifice their relic to do that, to like keep it up and alive, especially if I could. Now I would like to see you do it maybe on a short rest, because I don't really, maybe like at the end of the day you can like recreate it like at the end of the day or something like that. But I think that's fair.
Hecate says that it would actually break it, so at least if by bringing it up to full health for a minute would break it for later runs, that does mean that we do intend to upgrade this attuned creature or this attuned undead buddy that you have.
Wait. What would break it?
My idea that if you do the relic
full
sacrifice and bringing it up to full health for 1 minute and then it's destroyed, Hecate says that would be broken later.
Oh, I got to see what we're doing later.
Exactly, because I'm trying to think of like, if you're gonna lose it outright anyway. Again, for 1 minute, unless it's just so uber powerful, like how could, I don't know. It depends. Again, we got to see what it means.
Because there are other undead that won't go away in an hour. Like when you get to higher levels, there's plenty of undead that you can summon that you just either have with you, especially at later levels in the main class.
Right.
There'll be stuff that'll just last with you outside of this one spell. Right, so like at early levels, sure, like it's fine, but like definitely,
that's what I'm saying. Is like if it kept it at a minute though, like no matter how powerful that thing was, it would die in a minute. So we'll see. Well, I'm really curious to see how broken it would be, because I like the idea of being able to sacrifice the relic. It just right now it's like, why would I do that? Like yes, it's immune to conditions, so maybe it'll get 1 extra attack off. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to think of like, in what situation would that benefit me, burning my relic? Whereas I could just, like you said, wait and summon a new creature and then reattune it with an action. Like currently, I don't see it. So again, it's probably a setup. The relic sacrifice is a setup for something later. I just don't, you don't immediately see the benefit outright. So I'll hold my judgment.
Valid.
I'll hold the judgment. All right, so moving on to level 6, we get unique undead servant. All right, unique undead servant. You can perform a 1-hour ritual using the preserved corpse of a larger creature than yourself to raise it as your unique undead. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna need a little bit more specific terminology. Does it have to be larger than you, Or is this just it has the ability to be larger than you?
Yeah,
And
I'm
is
not
there
really
any
sure.
limit? Can I do this to a gargantuan-sized creature?
It just says larger creature than yourself. So, you know, that tells me it has to be, if you're medium, it has to be large or larger. If you're small, it has to be medium or larger. That's how I read that. But what's also interesting is, like, I'm assuming that you get this unique undead. Again, just for helpful sake, I would just put, you know, starting at 6th level, you receive.
That's exactly what he means.
It's meant to size carry.
It says it's meant large or larger. So you cannot do medium, you cannot do small, and you cannot do tiny.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. And yeah, I would just, I know this sounds pedantic, but I would just start with a line that just somehow identifies what the unique undead is. Like, you get a unique undead companion that will travel with you that doesn't go away, right? Just then say you can perform a 1-hour ritual to get this unique companion. But I don't know, it's just the way this reads, It's just kind of like unique undead spirit. You perform a 1-hour ritual to raise it as your unique undead. It's like, but we haven't defined what you like. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It just sounds like
okay. So correct me if I'm wrong. It says using the preserved corpse of a larger creature. Maybe it's just the creature. You know what I mean? Maybe like, so whatever creature you ran into, say it was a bear, a large bear, like it'll be the corpse of the bear that is now whatever it is.
Well, yeah, that's your unique undead. That's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to say, like, just the way this reads, I would have expected to know what the unique undead is first before knowing how to get it. That's all I'm saying, is just wording wise.
Well, what I mean is it is whatever creature you ran into. You know what I mean?
No, I
understand. Is that not
that.
answering the question, or is it?
No, never mind. Okay. Like I said, it's probably just the way that I read it. But we get creation limits, which is the creature CR cannot exceed your proficiency bonus plus your wisdom modifier to a maximum of half your necromancer level rounded up. So that would be like if you had 6 and 5 with your modifier plus your proficiency. So you get a maximum of a CR 10. I believe that gets into Dragon Rage.
Well, here's the deal.
But you already get a Bone Dragon.
I don't feel like there's ever going to be a time where your wisdom modifier plus your proficiency bonus is going to be smaller than half your necromancy level rounded up. So why not just say half your necromancy level rounded up? It'll always be that max, unless you just have no wisdom.
Well, no, that's actually true, and by doing it that way, it does scale as you level up, where this, I mean, it kind of scales, but you get a big boost right out the gate, right? Unless you're taking, like, you know, ASIs. You're probably not going to, like, see big boosts in this throughout. But if you did half your level at all times, especially starting at 6th level, you'd already have 3 CR, which is pretty decent. What do you start? Yeah, what is...
But I mean, like...
What's up?
I'm just trying to figure out what... This is a level 6, right?
Starting at level 6, yes.
I'm trying to figure out what your proficiency bonus would be at level 6. Because depending on how you build your character, there's no way your wisdom modifier isn't a +3 or a +4 right now.
Right.
And so if your proficiency bonus at level 6 is a minimum level of 3,
I think it's a 3.
You already have a 6 as your wisdom modifier plus your proficiency bonus. So I wouldn't be able to get that 6. I would only be able to get 3. Does that make sense?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so it's early enough, it means that it doesn't matter, and late enough, it means it doesn't matter. So there's only like 3 levels that calculation actually pans out.
Maybe, and it's only if you have like a 0 or a 1 in wisdom.
Got you. You're right. Yeah, because so at level 6, if you got 6, but it was only half your necromancer, it would already be at level 3. So at 8, it would be more like a 7, but again, half your level, so it's going to cap at a 4. Yeah. So yeah, the math, I think you're right. I think at that point, unless you go past 20th level, yeah, half your level makes sense to a maximum. And you could just say, yeah, half your level maximum 10.
Because unless you find a bunch of ways to get your wisdom modifier above a 20, you're gonna max out at 11 when you hit level 20.
Yeah.
Oh well, before 20. You'll max out at 11 at like level 18 or something like that when you finally get access to 6 proficiency bonus.
Right.
But
even then it would still max you out at 9 because at level 18 it's only half your level.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying is like if you get rid of one or two of those requirements, either get rid of half your level or you get rid of the proficiency bonus plus your wisdom modifier. If you get rid of one of those requirements, you'll almost end up in the same place anyways.
Exactly.
When you finally hit the 20, it's just how fast do you want to be able to get there?
Like we understand that it's a spectrum Hecate, but what we're saying is just like the math works out is basically you're saying the same thing by saying proficiency bonus plus modifier and half your level. It's kind of the same thing except like max. I think half your level is really what is always the most accurate with this thing. So the example.
So I could say
so if at a 6.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so if it's 6, you're proficient. So if you have a 6 proficiency and you have a wisdom of 3. Oh no, I'm sorry. So at level 6, proficiency is 3, your wisdom mod is 3, then any creature CR 6 and under. But then why did you say to a maximum of half your CR level? So it's not a CR 6, it would be a CR 3 rounded down.
That's what I'm saying. If it is half your level, you wouldn't have access to CR6. You would only have access to CR3.
That's why we're confused. Yeah, they just that's the half your level is confusing us. But yeah,
because if it is the other way, I want to look at like what's a CR6 something.
Yeah, versus a CR3 because that would be where the math that we're trying to figure out, right? What sounds better, being able to get a CR3 or a CR6? Because I would say, yeah, if you're looking at the 3 and 3 as 6 CR, then I would just get rid of this part. Just get rid of half your necromancer. The maximum probably would have been better if it's in maximum CR. Okay, and that's fine. Yeah. So if that was the point was the half your maximum was meant to cap it at 10 for level 20. Totally fine. Yeah. If that's just a proficiency plus wisdom maximum 10.
Yes.
Totally fine. Totally fine.
Large, huge, and gargantuan. I'm actually very curious what this is going to show me.
Because at that point, really, the maximum of 10 with the proficiency and wisdom bonus, I guess the biggest difference is how high of a CR do you want them to have early game? Because they're always going to max out at 10. Whereas if you always went with half your necromancer level, it would scale every time they leveled up. So they'd always get something better every time they leveled up, right? Like they'd unlock something.
I'm seeing Yeti. I'm seeing animated stove, which is crazy.
The corpse of an animated stove.
Assassin vine. I'm seeing awakened white moose. Holy crap!
These do not sound like normal.
I don't know what that is.
Are these normal D&D CR6s?
Because here's the deal. I'm trying. Some of these are CR. I was looking at. I'm actually. Yeah, these are CR3s. I was starting at CR3 to see what we would get if that was our limit. But if we're talking about CR6, we have hags. We've got Chasme. I don't know how you pronounce that. Chasme. There's a whole bunch of them. Chimera, monstrosity, a cyclops, a drider.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to feel like I'm starting to lean like I think half your necromancer level would have been the better limit because it scales great. Again, it's one of those things where every time you level up, it doesn't matter if your class or subclass levels up, you get something new. Like every level, you're unlocking a new set of.
There's a giant that's level 6.
Yeah, I think I'd much rather be half your level because those are some pretty wicked things to get at level 6. So especially if they become like greater, as you attune them to your relic, I think it depends on what your DM actually.
I can see some of those being good like at level. right?
Yeah, so that would be my call. I think half sounds a little bit better, but again, I scale my game a little bit differently, so that's where Hecate's game probably scales perfectly for how this is built. All right, and then we also get base modifications to this
Sure.
unique undead. The creature uses its original stat block, but with the following modifications: it becomes undead type, it gains immunity to poison and exhaustion,
Sure.
poison damage and being poisoned or exhausted, and resistance to necrotic damage. It understands your languages.
Cool.
It acts on
Sure.
your initiative immediately after your turn. It obeys your command.
Valid.
It is immune to being turned, charmed, or frightened by undead controlled by other creatures. You can have only one unique undead at a time. Creating a new one destroys the previous one. And the unique undead counts towards your maximum number of permanently controlled command undead feature.
That's from your base class.
Gotcha, yeah.
Okay, so for the immune to being turned, charmed, frightened, and controlled by other creatures, I don't mind that, but I feel like that should be limited to a radius. You know, like maybe 60 feet, or maybe even like 150 feet. What level is this? Is it still level 6? Yeah, give me 60 feet at level 6.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind a contest either. Like, I mean, old school wise, whenever you had something under your control and someone wanted to take it over, there was always some sort of contest. And I wouldn't mind giving you a big, like, you know, like you can add your proficiency or your wisdom modifier to the roll. I'm fine with it, but I do kind of like there being some sort of contest, you know, or a DC roll that's like, you know, like based on your level or something. You know, I just, yeah, that's my preference, but that's also a
I much prefer. Yes. For all of these things, I would say the caster or the initiator has to pass like a certain check. Because if you are level 6 and somebody's level 20, you're not going to look at them and be like, you can't take my level, you can't take my undead. You're not strong enough to take my undead. No, bro. Like, I feel like they should absolutely be able to rip your undead out of your control because they are so much more powerful than you are.
Yeah. So yeah. But again, I do like the modifications to it. Yeah, I think I personally would add a contest here, but everything else. Also, I don't know. For me personally, when it also comes to things like this, I don't mind when they can understand you, like when the language basically says like they can understand when you speak to them, but when it says it understands your languages, to me that has implications. Like basically, I could leave it behind and say, "Hey, obey him while I'm gone," and it doesn't matter who it is; they'll just know what the instructions are. It's like I would prefer it to just be like it can understand anything you say, or you know, you can understand any of the languages. You know, you like I don't know. I forget what the verbiage is that they handle that in when it's not. It doesn't know the language. It just.
Well, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where there's a small exploit here that I'm a little comfortable with that verbiage. That's just.
Sure. Fair enough.
All right. Oh, we get more stuff with it though. We get a grave enchantment. We get to choose one when we create it. We get grave strength. You get to add your wisdom modifier to its damage rolls. You get grave accuracy. Add your wisdom modifier to its attack rolls. Or you have grave resolve. Add your wisdom modifier to its saving throws. By the way, excellent naming convention. Grave strength, grave accuracy.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, really great. Also, nice spread. Wisdom modifier for damage, attack, saving throws. Very great spread. Love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the options. I love the choices. I love how this is presented. I think it's very cool. I wish more things had stuff like this.
I
specifically for like your son. Imagine if the Beast Ranger had something like this for their Beast Companion, you know, or the Artificer that could create a little dog companion had something like this. Like all of that would be phenomenal.
I would love that.
So I don't know. I like it.
We have Lingering Horror. Your unique undead retains one signature trait from its original form. Choose one trait or action from its stat block that meets all criteria. It cannot be spellcasting. It cannot be a legendary action or a layer action. Does not summon creatures and does not create any permanent effects.
Okay, now I'm a little bit confused. So does that mean that they don't have the stat block of the original creature?
I assume what he meant by stat block was it has the stats, like the AC, the health, and strength, dex, wisdom. But now I'm curious because does it not have all of its attacks? Like, I get that it might not have layer actions or legendary actions or know its spells.
Sure.
But if it had if the creature had like a claw attack, a bite attack, and multi attack, where it can do 2 claws and a bite, I would expect it to come with that. Or is the idea that the baseline is it can bite or claw, but it won't come with multi attack, and then that's the feature you have to ask for.
So then that's
it does
what
say
I would
trait or
clarify.
Because I assume if it has
when it comes to no, I was just gonna say when it comes to what is being said when it's like, hey, you get the stat block of this, I would want to know what isn't included, so that because that would makes a huge difference on what I end up choosing here when it says what you have access to. So if I know when I get my base stat block, I'm gonna get all of their ability, or I'm gonna get all of their stats, but none of the pre-abilities. Like for a direwolf, you get pack tactics.
Exactly.
Am I gonna have access to pack tactics
based on what Hecate said?
I choose?
Based on what Hecate is saying, that they look at traits being different from the stats and attacks. So again, if you have wolf, you get their stats. You get their AC, their hit points, their strength, their dex, and their bite and their claw attack. But pack tactics is a trait that you'd have to add on with this. You'd get one of those to choose from.
Okay.
You could choose pack tactics, or you could choose whatever other option there are.
Traits and stats and attacks. Okay, so when it comes to attacks, does that include any reactions, bonus actions? Because some stat blocks have attack actions, they have bonus actions, they have reactions. If those are included in the things that you automatically get, and it's just the traits list that is in question here, because and that's what I'll say, either be more specific here and say you're only it does say choose one trait, but it says or action from its stat block. Okay, see, that's so if it's just traits, if only thing I need to worry about choosing from is traits, then that's great.
That's what Hecate's Hecate's just saying traits. Yeah.
Okay. So then I'm not going to look at bonus actions. I'm not going to look at reactions because I'm going to assume I already get all of those things that are on the stat block. So if I'm already getting all of those things and I'm just looking for traits, then that makes a lot of sense. And I'm totally fine with that.
And Hecate is just confirming that it just says that because some traits do have actionable items in them, like they are actions in themselves. So those are included. Since they're actions listed under traits.
That's fair enough.
So honestly, a way to say that too is if traits have actions underneath them, but they are still listed as traits, you could rename this to help the confusion is choose one trait, parenthesis, including actions from the stat block that meets the following criteria. So you can just say it's still from the trait side. Sure. But yes, even if that trait has an action, so just including traits with actions could maybe be a different wording to just clear that up. So we always know it's a trait, even if it comes with an action. And then we also have the note that if your unique undead is destroyed completely, so like disintegration way, lava, you cannot raise it again and must find a new one. Otherwise, you can perform a 1-hour ritual to raise it again.
So you asked earlier about why would you want to save something? This would be a reason why. If there's a chance that I can't bring this thing back, and it's a very specific creature that I found somewhere that I might not be able to find otherwise. Like that could be a reason why I'd be like, oh, it's really important that this one doesn't die, you know,
Yeah.
and
So you would
there could
attune
be
it
a
to the
scenario where
item, so then
you-
that way you can basically kind of like get a jail free card.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And I guess, again, depending on how high the CR is, like that's where I guess, yeah, the idea of if I burn it and it comes back at full, but then I lose it in a minute, I wouldn't call that overpowered, but I do now see the idea that if this is like true, like when they say unique, like you can hunt, you have to go find these things, right? You can't just like summon it. So you have to go and find the creature that you want to have around. So if you took down a dragon and you want to keep that dragon, yeah, you don't want to go take down another dragon to have another dragon. So
Yeah.
that definitely makes a little bit more sense on, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call that like broken. I just would say that it's not as impactful. It definitely doesn't make it feel as good if you have to have these like adventures just to go have a specific animal, which is kind of cool though. I do like having that as like a side quest option, built-in side quest.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Now, one thing I am curious though, I think more detail can be put into what's considered a preserved corpse. Like, obviously, if I want to go have a certain creature, I have to go fight it and I have to damage it in order to turn it, right? But I am curious if there is a distinction on how you identify a preserved corpse. Is there a time frame, like, have to be dead within a certain time, or
There's a
do something to
spell
it?
that I think would be perfect for this. It is a cantrip generally had by Spare the Dying. Spare the Dying. I think that so it says you touch a living creature, the creature becomes stable. The spell has no effect on undead and constructs. No, there's another one that specifically talks about preserving a corpse for the purposes of raising it. What is that spell?
Right? Toll the Dead's actually like helping people. Yeah. But yeah, so I would just like a little bit more information on what kind of corpses are available, right? Like what level of preservation. That's all I would ask. All right, we have 3 more. So we have, at this point, we have the ability to attune to one of the creatures under our control. We can now specifically get a very unique type of undead of our choosing, especially if we go and get it. Gentle Repose, I think is what you're thinking of. That's what from
Ooh, I think you're right.
all right, so I do like that. I do like the idea that you can go and search out a specialty kind of creature and be able to take it as your own. That is really dope. It's unfortunate, like I for 5e, I know it's definitely going to be much more combat focused, but I kind of wish it wasn't as powerful, or I would probably dull it down a little bit to say you can have a number of these like equal to your intelligence modifier. I think that's what I would do. Like there's still this one.
The army of them.
Well, not just the army of them.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking more of is either giving them a few more lower level ones, like lower CRs, or giving you like this one main undead and then giving you essentially like the vampire version of a ghoul. Like, someone that kind of like follows you or like is indentured to you but isn't quite like fully undead. Because I imagine being able to do this, like let's say you want to fully play into this character, so you go and buy a horse, and then when the horse goes down, you're able to re-res your horse, and now you have an undead horse as your mount. Not necessarily the full undead like familiar creature that we're talking about that can do combat, but you still have this like now undead mount that you can like go with. Like imagine being able to have like a small collection, right? You could have like an undead like creature that you could send out, like a bird or something to scout. You have your undead horse, and then you have this thing that like actually does battle for you. So that would be something that I would love to look into.
Interesting. You could just Like I would love like a spell where you could just basically take something of like a low enough CR and do something like that to it. You
Hmm.
know, like because a horse, like a dog, a cat, a bird, stuff like that. Those are all things that are low enough CR for you to basically make connections like that with them. That you could, if passing whatever check or expending whatever
Oh,
spell
you know
slot,
what you could
I feel
call
like
it?
that's super valid for you to
You know
make
what you
it.
could call it? You could call it Bind Familiar.
Hmm.
Make your own necromantic spell called Bind Familiar.
Ooh,
So instead of casting the
yes,
spell, so
yes,
so instead of casting the
yes.
spell and a creature like comes and finds you like within the distance, you cast the spell and just like on the instead of a creature finding you, you do the roll table and you find like the fresh corpse, like the roadkill nearby. And you re-res that, and that's your familiar. So if you roll a cat, you found, like a cat that got hit by a card. If it's a bird, you found a bird that got like taken down by, a cat. Like you could have this whole roll
But
table
see, I
where
also like the idea, like, even if you're like in the middle of your world and like you guys are in a dungeon and like this rat just ended up helping you out throughout your journey and like guided you where you needed to go and all this stuff, and then it ends up dying on the adventure.
yep,
You're
and you're just
like,
like, nope, that's fine.
boom, let me bring
He's
him
with
back
us.
and let me have him add him to my little mini collection, and then you just got this rat buddy that rolls around with you. He's still just a little rat guy, but like you can keep him with you and keep him to be able to be a part of your event.
Yeah.
And it's
If
dumb,
not
it's
an
silly, and that
army,
could be like the little collection that you create.
if not an army, a
Yes,
posse. That's
yes.
all I'm saying. If not an army, give me a posse.
There you go. There you go. There you go. All right, I'm gonna be right back.
All right. Well, let's get on to level 10 while he's gone, and then we'll catch him up as soon as he gets back. So at level 10, we got Monstrous Empowerment. At the end of each long rest, choose one of the following enhancements for your unique undead. You can change this choice each day. Okay, so you get one bonus enhancement for your unique undead. So you get Unholy Regeneration. The undead regains 10 HP at the start of its turn unless it has taken fire or radiant damage since its last turn. This trait does not function while the undead is at 0 hit points. So that's 10 hit points every turn, at the top of every turn, just for the whole day. That's crazy. That's super great. Hard not to choose that one every single day. Aura of Terror. As a bonus action, the undead forces each enemy of your choice within 30 feet to make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the creature is frightened for 1 minute. Frightened creatures may repeat the saving throw at the end of each of their turns, ending the effect on a success. Once used, this feature can't be used again until the undead finishes a short or long rest. Are they afraid of the undead, of you, or of both? I think that would be a good thing to clarify, because I do believe that frightened usually has a target, right? Like there's a specific thing that they are afraid of, like one of you, not just in general. I thought. So if that's the case, you would probably want to identify what is the source of their fright. All right, we back?
We are back at it again.
All right, so the first two, quick update. So this is basically at the start of each day, you can give your unique undead one special ability, and then you can change this daily.
Okay, cool.
So the first one is called Unholy Regeneration. They get 10 HP at the start of their turn, every turn, for the whole day.
That's just crazy.
They just regen. Period. They're just constantly regenning indefinitely. Second one, as a bonus action,
Fire.
if you give them this Aura of Terror, as a bonus action, the undead will force a spell save DC on enemies within 30 feet, or they become frightened for 1 minute against you and the creature, or you and your undead, your unique undead. Oh, and the Unholy Regeneration, they get 10 HP at the start of their turn as long as they did not take fire or radiant damage the last turn. And when they hit 0 HP. Those are the limitations. But, and yeah, Aura of Terror, they basically can cast Frighten within 30 feet, and it works for you and them.
here's the deal. So first, I want to know, who are they afraid of? Are they afraid of just the zombie?
No,
Are they
you
afraid of
and your
you,
undead,
or-
both of you. I confirm that with Hecate.
Oh, it's both?
Yeah, so your undead is the one that casts it. As a bonus action, you have your undead cast it. So basically, you get to cast it as a bonus action. But it's with enemies within 30 feet of your creature, so it could be at a distance, right? But those creatures affected by it, those that fail, are frightened of him and you. Both of you are the target of their fright.
That's very interesting, because you can do some weird stuff with two sources of fear and trying to funnel people in a very specific direction. Because normally they just have to move away from their source of fear. But if, or depending on which version they're using, they might just not be able to get closer to their source of fear.
Yeah.
So,
but they may not like act intentionally run. This can only also be used once every short or long rest.
All right, I would never choose this if it's short or long rest.
But you can only choose these once per day. At the start of each day, you choose these. Or I guess it says at the end of each day. So I'm assuming you'd want like your dude to heal overnight.
So, nah.
We still got one more. So last one.
Let's hear the last one.
Deathly Retaliation. When your undead takes damage from a melee attack, it can use its reaction to make one melee attack against the attacker. This can occur once per round. So you give your undead basically counter or counter attack.
Okay. Here's what I'll say. I like Aura of Terror, but I don't think it fits here. Both the first and the second one are something that are passive effects that this creature just gets the whole time. The second one is something you can use very infrequently, and I don't feel like that balances very well with the choice option. Because I have to think in my head, I am going to really want to use this one thing in this very specific situation at some point today for me to choose Aura of Terror.
So here's what
those are just going to be great.
I kind of agree with you. So what would be kind of interesting is with Monstrous Empowerment, at the end of each day, you can either choose Unholy Regeneration or Deathly Retaliation. Basically, it heals itself or it attacks more, right? Is it, what side is it going to be? Is it going to be the tank? And that's funny because almost you'd want to rotate those. You'd spend it, you'd give it Deathly Retaliation and let it be the tank for a fight. And then at the end of that day, you'd give it Unholy Regeneration to get all of its HP back. And then a day later, you'd get Deathly Retaliation. So you could just literally cycle it through being a, self-healer and a tank. But at this same vein, right? So the choice every day is Unholy Regeneration or Deathly Retaliation. Taking your idea, I would say, additionally at level 10, whenever your unique undead eliminates an enemy, or whenever an enemy, is brought to 0 hit points by your unique undead, trigger Aura of Terror. All enemies within 30 feet make a DC Wisdom saving throw or be frightened. So, seeing the undead kill something, because you imagine it could, bite their head off, it could, suck their brains. You could make it to where if they are responsible for taking out an enemy, that instance is just terrifying.
So, I almost had a very similar thought, but my head went a slightly different direction. It was, instead of killing somebody, it was getting a crit. Thematically, I like yours better.
I feel like you'd get kills more than crits.
Because I feel like them downing an enemy happen a lot.
Oh yeah. But I still think that's kind of the motif though.
Less often. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think the motif of every time they take someone down is
get a lot more.
Be afraid of small minions dying, and then they would fear each other every time. I mean, you can only fear someone once, so
That's what I mean. But if you can keep them locked into something like that, that's kind of what I think that with the limitation that was originally put on this of short rest to long rest, I think that means this is kind of a 2 to 3 times a day type
Hmm.
ability.
So what if it
when
was
it
just
comes
that?
to
What
balance.
if
And I
whenever?
kind of agree with that.
So what if this? So what if same rules apply? So at level 10, you can every day you choose Unholy Regeneration or Deadly Retaliation. And then on top of that, additionally, whenever your unholy or whenever your unique undead eliminates an enemy, as a reaction, you can have it cast or terror Aura of Terror. So you can have
Yes,
it
and I'll
proc
even
more
give
often,
this number
but you have to use
times a
a
day.
react, and when this feature can't be used until a short or long rest. So it burns a reaction.
Sure.
It still takes a short or long rest, but the opportunity to proc it happens way more often. But you still only get to proc it once.
Heard.
So maybe that would
Love
be
that.
the way I would like
Love
it, because
that.
again, I do agree with you. I would never choose it between regeneration and retaliation. I don't think I'd ever use aura. But at this level, the idea of having it, I think you're right. It is rock solid. I think it does belong at this level, but not in the way these are being presented. So if it was a
Yeah,
passive,
exactly.
if it was a passive ability, because it's already a bonus action. So a bonus action and a reaction kind of are the same action economy, though reactions, especially for a spellcaster, I think reactions aren't that big of a deal unless you have counterspell or something like that. So I really kind of think that it's fair to say that as a reaction.
Shield, you got some, but
and it happens right after your turn. Remember, these things go after your turn. I like the idea of using maybe 3 times a day would be nice. Yeah. Well, and that's what he was saying is just about like the short rest, because then that gives you typically like 2 rests, 2-3 rests a day. But yeah, I think a trigger would be better. Sorry, what was that? You cut out a little bit.
I agree.
We have a little bit of delay in your audio, so it's fine.
It's fair. But I was gonna say I think that proficiency number of times can, like, imagine you being able to do this 6 times at level 20. I don't think that's crazy.
Oh yeah,
like,
perfect.
I would be okay with something like that. Like
so proficiency number per day.
Yes, proficiency number of times per day. So once you take a long rest, it refreshes, blah blah blah. But like that would be cool. If you want to do the short rest, long rest thing, I feel like that will be less valuable as you go up in level. It'll be like, yeah, I can make some things afraid, but if I can like pump this out a couple of times.
Oh yeah. Well, and Hecate even said that they would prefer 3 times
that.
a day, specifically because that would follow more with 5e official. So yeah, I really think what you're saying there is being it equal to your proficiency times per day is definitely right up where Hecate would want it. And again, being able to have aura of terror 6 times per day, like you said, if there's a couple minions and you're just bringing in the fear, that would be kind of cool up at that level. But at this point, you're at level 10, so you have 3 or 4. I mean, you're not going to burn, and especially, I still think it would be best if it burned on a reaction, because this thing goes after you. So having to burn your reaction for the rest of that turn, I think is valid. Is a good action economy. You're going to get it right back.
Yeah.
So yeah, these 3 abilities are rock solid. I don't see terror or aura of terror being equal to the other 2 in this particular economy.
Fair enough.
All right, and then that was level 10. So moving to level 14, we have Gravekeeper's Bond. Your connection with the unique undead deepens beyond death and distance. Telepathic link. You and your unique undead can communicate telepathically while on the same plane of existence. Did we not get a telepathic link like when you first bond with it? I would love to have seen that. Like here within like 120 feet, you have telepathic link, and then see this upgrade to plane of existence.
So the thing we got at the beginning was I could see through its eyes and I could speak through it.
That's if you attune to it. If you did the relic with it, you're probably going to anyway.
Cool.
But
and I'm assuming, isn't all of this stuff you have to be attuned to it?
No. The relic is you attune.
Am I wrong?
No. The relic is just you attune the relic to one of the creatures that you control, most likely, which is going to be your unique undead. and it gives it all of these bonuses. But the gravesight and the voice is you basically like seeing through them and speaking through them. But this is saying that it takes until level 14 to say that you can just speak directly to them as if they're an individual consciousness. I would like to have seen this happen much earlier within a distance, and then it open up to plane of existence by now, because it feels a little bit too late in the game to just suddenly be able to now have another creature I can like benefit and respond with. I would just say, yeah, just make this earlier with a little bit less, because then that's also just more opportunity to use it, right? To like actually be able to interact with it more than just have but you also get Unbroken Command. You always know the direction, distance, and current condition, alive, destroyed, incapacitated, of your unique undead. And you can issue commands to it regardless of distance while it's on the same plane. This feature is more of a combat feature.
See, I would
think of something for out of... Oh, okay.
I would want to know what the earlier range was, because if we're talking about plane of existence now, then what was my limitation before? Like how far away? Because I don't remember them talking about a specific distance that I could see through their eyes and stuff like that. Like traditionally with Find Familiar, I think it's like 1,000 feet or something like that.
I'm going to assume that without any specifics, it was within reasonable distance, within line of sight, within earshot. Like, this has no indication that you have telepathic links with undead, and I don't even think that was in the Necromancer either. So I don't think there was any...
The voice of the thing we were talking about, voice of whatever, and...
Voice of the Master, and Gravesight.
Yes. What's the range on those?
Shared Vitality is within 60 feet. Gravesight and Voice of the Master have no distance. Spell Reflection is within 30 feet. So those two have no stated distances, so they probably should. But again, that's only a one-way funnel, right? Yeah. That's not using your creature's intelligence. Like, you're not talking to it. It's not doing things autonomously. So that's where I would say, like, yeah, at 6th level, I would love for it to have said at creation, you have a telepathic bond that extends 120 feet with the creature. So that's fine. You know, that basically mostly line of sight. And then we could go to plane of existence, which would make a lot more sense. But because this is implying that it's intelligent enough to go do things for you. Like plane of existence wise, that means I could leave it at home base, or I could have it go travel for me or do something, and I need to check in on it.
Sure.
But before now, we haven't seen that. Like, we haven't seen any...
yeah, and I agree.
Yeah. Also, what I am curious about, and this is... I mean, I guess technically, too, which is interesting, at 18th level on the main class, you do get Bone Dragon. I wonder what would happen if you... Because you can summon it permanently. So you can have your unique undead and your Bone Dragon, but only one of them can be attuned to a relic at a time. But both are technically permanent. But the Bone Dragon, you can always resummon. As long as you have 500 pounds of bone or 10 humanoid corpses.
I'm so curious if you could somehow combine the two. Somehow turn your Bone Dragon into your unique summon.
Interesting. Well, the Bone Dragon, yeah, maybe. I don't see why you would, though, because your unique summon, I think, is meant to come from the world where the Bone Dragon is like your default. Like, it's like your default, like, attack summon.
Sure.
Whereas I feel like the unique one's meant to be something that you like got, it's a Pokemon. You went out and you earned that shit. It's like, look at mine, look what I got.
Sure.
Hecate does say that they do agree with making telepathic links something at level 6, which again, I think that's a cool idea, is just make it something so where, again, even if we're in a bar and I can leave it outside, because imagine that. I just want to go inside and I'm like, hey, stay out here in the shadows and warn me if anybody approaches. So when you're inside, telepathic link within 60 or 120 feet means we can go inside somewhere and, hey, guys, don't worry, my undead will let me know mentally if someone's walking up. And no one's going to notice it, right? It's in the shadows. It looks like a drunk guy or, a pile of bones. Like, you could literally make that thing
Sure.
an alarm for you without actually setting the alarm spell. So that's kind of what I would think is prep me early, knowing that I can use it that way.
Yeah.
And I do like Unbroken
That was-
Command. That's really cool. Just being able to give it commands,
Yes, very
and
cool.
always know where it's at, what condition it's in. That's
And
awesome.
his condition is, yep. So then if it's like getting like beaten up or something like that, like you're literally watching its health chunk down, like chick, and I'm like, oh, guys, my zombie's dying. Like we gotta go. You know what I mean?
Because Hecate was trying to say like what you do out of combat. I know one more thing you could add to this to make it devastating, but for both in and out of combat. Because it's already like intelligent, so we're assuming that, because it has its stats, so we're assuming that it's going to be able to like think through complex tasks and do all of that, right? But
Depending on what creature it was, for sure.
imagine if one of these was I'm trying to think of a cool name, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But basically like Unbroken Will, or Undying Will or something, to where you can give your unique undead one complex task or one prepared spell to cast either at a specified time, like after a certain time passes, or upon a certain trigger, like a condition is met. So like imagine you cast like instead of having to cast the message spell on it and have it go deliver that message, but imagine you could be like, hey, I need you to go here at this time and cast this spell. Like whatever that spell, like go to the top of this mountain and then cast like the light spell. Or hey, I need you to go into this place and when everybody arrives, cast fireball. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's so many, just one thing. If you could just have it do one, like basically tell it, hey, I'm going to cast this spell through you and kind of prep it, or you can give it this one,
Like a contingency spell, yes.
yeah, or one complex task, like, hey, go to like sneak into the castle through the tunnel system, unlock these doors and free this person. Like that's a complex task, right? Something that you normally wouldn't be able to complete all on its own. But if you could give it the full, like one full series of explainers, or like one spell, so with like a basic,
It's like almost like I give it like a step-by-step SOP to go complete task X one time.
yes, yeah, and that can be done at any distance, right? So again, you can just say, hey, like you could give it that whole thing and then put it somewhere and say, wait for my command to start, and then you're on the plane of existence and you're like, hey, by the way, go start that, go execute that really complex plan, go. Or hey, start walking, and when you start walking, and when you hit your trigger, do the spell I told you to do. So you, like, again, that's the idea of, you want to like implement, why would I be able to do this because again, why would I want to be on the same plane with this thing if it's mainly meant for combat? But if I could have it go do some shit, then like there's a reason for me to send it away.
So I like the idea of like, not to make it more complicated than it needs to be, but like this is how like it would make the most sense to me. Like imagine if you wanted it to go to a certain location, right? So you had a way to like say, hey, this is a location. I want you to make sure you're be here. And then once it gets here, I want you to go do, and then you physically do the thing. And it's almost like recording what you're doing as you're doing it. And then when the contingency goes off, it just goes and like follows through with the thing that you did.
Ooh, that's
and that might be too specific, but I do like the idea of you trying to like go through it.
Hecate, you were almost there. You almost had the perfect idea. So Hecate says, like send one out in the world and just give it a contingency spell. Hey, if you reach half HP, just teleport back to me. Just here's a teleport spell. You know where I am at all times. If you so that's great, but go one step further. Hey, I need you to go into this crypt that's fresh with undead that won't mess with you. I need you to go get this ancient relic. The moment you touch the relic, teleport back to me, or teleport out, or you know what I mean? Like you could literally have it go do something, and then like the contingency spell with teleport, you could literally have it go grab something, then teleport for you and move.
So
Yeah,
here's
there's
the
a lot
crazy
that you
thing.
could do with like a single contingency
Tell me-
spell or complex action.
Tell me if this would work for you, because a teleport spell is dangerous when you don't know where you're going. But if you have a zombie that's over there, can I look through its eyes if we're on the other side of the planet from each other?
Yeah.
If I can look through its eyes when we're on the other side of the planet from each other, then I can get a perfect teleport every single time anywhere my zombie is.
If that's how you think teleporting works, yeah. Like if that's how to like if
mean,
teleporting requires like a visual of where you've been.
So the chance of success is dependent upon how familiar you are with the area, right?
Oh yeah.
And if I'm so familiar, I can literally look around in the area right here and now. I'm like literally looking at the area I want to be in. Like, I feel like that's as familiar as you can get.
Yeah, no, why not? Like absolutely. Like again, there's so much more to it, and I think that would add. I know that that's not quite 5e, but that would add. I think just adding the ability for it to cast a spell with one spell, and even if you said like one spell at half its CR or equal to no higher than its CR, right? Like if you wanted to limit it to like something, right? Because you can only get to a max 10, right? So make it it can cast a spell equal to half its CR or lower. And that spell can be done on a contingency. So you can not only have the telepathic link and you can command it from anywhere, but you can send it off into the world with one prepared spell of its half of its CR or lower with a contingency to go off. Because again, at the max, it can only have a level 5 spell. Because it does have a max CR of 10.
Yeah, it does have a max CR of 10.
So I don't think a one-time...
Just because I feel like it should be more reliant on you than its CR, because if you imagine you just said you can do it equal to your proficiency bonus -1. It's the exact same thing ultimately, but it's more relational to you, and regardless of what CR the thing is. Because if I can choose to get like a lower CR or something, that just means I can't cast higher level spells.
But to be fair, Hecate did just solidify why that's a good idea, because it maxes out at 10, so it would only get 5. Contingency only works on 5th level or lower spells.
Oh.
So it would align perfectly that you could send it out if you would be able to do that. And I would assume that CR would also
have to have a CR10 creature. You not only would you have to have a CR, you have to go find one, you have to go kill it,
you'd have to want to send it away from you. You'd have to want to not have it around you in order to go. Yeah. But still, the point being, I think that would help the idea that because okay, so imagine this though. That's we're trying to talk about like that's another ability, because Hecate was saying like they wanted a little bit more than just combat, right? So this allows for more out in the world. But again, by that point, if you're going to have a level CR 10 or a 10 CR, why would you not have it next to you? So imagine this, that one spell. What if that one spell was a heal spell and the contingency was when I reach half life, heal
me? Hell yeah.
What if it's if you see me about to be attacked, cast shield as a reaction? Like there could be things you could implement to even have it back you up in combat.
Why is this reminding me of when I first played Final Fantasy 12 and I learned about the Gambit system, and like all your buddies could like do certain things on certain triggers? Like I really enjoyed that type of combat in a game system, but that's kind of the vibes it's giving me. But I think that's very cool. I think that's a very cool feature to have.
Dimension door me when I fall. Ooh, feather fall, automatic feather fall. If I'm falling more than 10 feet, cast feather fall. Like up to 5th level. I don't know what kind of healing spells are at 5th level, but I'm just thinking like, oh, what about like resurrection spells? Like if I hit 0 hit points, like instantly cast like revivify, or toll the dead.
I mean,
no, spare the dying. That's what I meant. Spare the like do spare the dying on me as soon as I fall.
And stuff for it. Spare the dying would be easy. Yep.
So yeah, they're just some cool things you could do if you could prep a spell. That's all I'm saying. That might put the little sugar on top.
Absolutely.
All right, and then at 18th level, we get our final capstone. This is called Immortal Tyrant. Your mastery of undeath elevates your unique undead into a near immortal horror. Unyielding flesh. Your unique undead becomes extraordinarily difficult to destroy. It gains resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks, as well as resistance to damage from spells. This resistance does not apply to radiant or fire damage. Makes sense, because it actually has issues with that. Then it has necrotic detonation. When your unique undead is reduced to 0 hit points, it explodes in a surge of necrotic energy. Each creature of your choice within 30 feet must make a Constitution saving throw against your spell save DC, taking 55 or 10d10 necrotic damage on a failed save, or half as much on a success. I would love a reminder here to just say unless you sacrifice your relic, or if you wanted to also do it, include this happens even if you sacrifice your relic. Like, identify, if I sacrifice the relic to not lose my unique undead, does this still go off? I would just clarify that now.
Sure.
I will say I don't want to say I'm disappointed, but we didn't get the army that I was really hoping for, but I feel like this one's really just focused on one thing. You get one summon that you're kind of like focused on.
It really is.
And I don't know, like, what was this bone dragon? Considering the bone dragon was a CR 17, so you'll be able to roll around with up to a CR 10. That's a customized, personal, unique undead that has a couple extra powers. But eventually, you'll also be able to just straight up drop a CR dragon that big. So yeah, I'm not upset with it, definitely. Just not the capstone I was quite expecting.
Sure, I instead of the detonation, my mind was going closer to like something more unkillable. I don't know, like higher AC or I don't know, something that protects it from dying even longer. Like it maybe like even after it reaches 0 hit points, you like roll a D8 or something, and it continues attacking for that many more turns or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of like Rage Beyond Death from the Barbarians had or something like that. But I will say, the idea of having like one really cool just gangster zombie, I do like, I feel like it's kind of an interesting choice to say it has to be size large or larger. Just because those types of things, it makes it much harder for you to be able to incorporate it into your campaign. Like, you can't have something that's your size. You can't use this as like a doppelganger for yourself, because it's going to be freaking massive, right? It's going to be bear size. It's going to be, T-Rex size. It's going to be mammoth sized, so you can always, I'm pretty sure, I don't know what spells we have access to, but you might be able to use like Enlarge Reduce on it or something like that if it was a giant in a humanoid form or whatever the case may be. But I love the abilities we get with this. I love being able to buff something and like having everything work well towards one end. So I don't know. It's definitely not what I originally expected, but I do like what we ended up with.
Yeah,
put it that way.
We are being given the sneak peek that the Grave Weaver is the army building subclass. So I will hold my reservations. That was my hope for this one, but that will happen in the future. So this one is, a raise it and buff it kind of focus. You're not raising an army, you're getting one solid one. I struggle with it because while that's kind of, I agree with you, it's nice to have all of that built in to kind of customize and modify. But the thing is this is really just letting you go out and find and reanimate a single type. And while you get to give it some strength at some point, when you get to upgrade it, right? You get to give it some strength, you give it some undead properties. But beyond that, other than making it regen, making it take a couple extra attacks, it's not better than the Bone Dragon. Like the Bone Dragon being so powerful, that immediately puts this, I don't want to say to shame. Now, granted, this thing has more you could do with it because it's probably, well, it's also size large. So this thing also isn't going to be like, you're not going to be in a tavern having this thing sit in the corner listening to, talks to you.
Yeah.
You're not going to have the guy in the walls. Like, this thing's huge. This thing can sit outside, and watch what's going on, but not really like, be a companion more as a mount. Like, really, this looks like more like you're getting a mount than a companion, which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. But we didn't get any like mount-like options, or like
Agreed.
travel options or carry capacity kind of things. I guess that would depend on what you get, though, right? Like, you have to choose which animal you get. It's really meant to go with a 7th level spell called Dreaded Champion at late levels. Okay. And again, if it leans on those, I would just say give it to them. You know what I mean? Like kind of shoehorn those options in as features to this class, right? Because I'm assuming that buffs the individual creature as well.
Don't see it. It might be another one of the custom ones that Hecate created.
Yeah, I even wouldn't mind like. See, I know that you have one that's going to be like a bigger army, and I'm hoping that one's like truthfully like, an army. But what would be kind of nice too for this is if this one gave you even like again, a set number, like you can have a number of unique undead equal to your equal to half your proficiency modifier, right? But you cannot have one. You can only have one of every size, right? So you can have like a tiny, a small, and a large, or a medium, a small, and a tiny. But you can't have 2 mediums and a small. So like,
Sure.
so in that case, like I could have the rat, right? I could have my rat that I could send through tunnels and go under doors and go look for stuff and listen for secrets. I can have my a crow that I can send out, or I guess that they would be the same size, right? But then I could have like a skeleton.
Like a dog
like
or a bird or something like that.
Yeah. So it's like I could have like an animal, I could have like a skeleton, and then I could have a beast. And then with that, the beast would still be the combat focused one, while the other two would just be more of like my side characters, like my backups, right? My little sidekicks, if you will.
Sure.
Because I just feel like as much as I like the idea of focusing on having a customized undead, I don't really feel like we get like enough with it. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't, and I don't want to keep it, like comparing it to the Bone Dragon, but I just, at a CR10, we're a spellcaster with a large familiar. Like that's kind of, but larger familiar.
Sure.
Oh, and then Hecate did send the spell along if you didn't find which spell that was. The Dreaded Champion spell.
Oh, he did. Okay, hold on. Let me check.
Because if you want to read that one, I would like to see at least kind of get an idea.
Oh, there it is.
Of
Yeah,
where this
okay.
is.
So we got Dread Champion, 7th level necromancy, casting time 1 action, range of touch. Components are verbal, somatic, and material with a fragment of obsidian etched with runes. We have the duration is concentration up to 10 minutes, and you infuse 1 undead under your control with immense necrotic power, transforming it into a Dread Champion. The undead gains the following benefits for the spell's duration. Its size increases by 1 category, medium to large. It gains temporary hit points equal to twice your necromancer level. it can attack twice and deal additional 3d8 necrotic damage. It had now the fact that it's saying it can attack twice. Well, it's a spell. It has advantage on strength and constitution saving throws. Its movement speed increases by 20 feet, and it gains resistance to radiant damage. If the undead is reduced to 0 hit points while the spell is active, it explodes into a burst of necrotic energy. All creatures of your choice within 10 feet must make a constitution saving throw or take 5d8 necrotic damage, or half as much on a successful one. At higher levels, you can cast this spell using slot of 8th level or higher. You can animate 1 additional undead per slot above 7th. So, what was the one thing? I immediately feel like it shouldn't be creatures of your choice. When it comes to the explosion, I feel like just if you in the AoE, like that's feels like something that's lightweight out of your control. I was going to say that when it's talking about it can attack twice, it makes me feel like our unique thing didn't already have the ability to attack twice, but this isn't talking specifically about the unique thing. So that's mostly irrelevant. So this is just saying, if you don't already have the ability to attack twice, now you do, or is this saying you can attack 1 additional time?
Yeah.
Because that will definitely make a difference.
So I'm starting to think that, like, really at the end of the day, I would just get rid of the requirement for it being a large creature. I feel like that just kind of makes it makes the expectation like I'm gonna have this big undead beast, but unless I have that particular spell, and when I cast that particular spell, I just have a large unusable secondary character on in the game, right? Again, something I can't take indoors, something I can't, like, there's not a lot I can usually do with something like that. Whereas early game, so it's like early game, right? If we're not getting anything big, but I can still turn something like, again, a horse, right? If we fight something, or a dire wolf, and I guess that's large, but you know what I mean? Like if we fight something that at the time I'm like, hey, I want to res this because I can use it for a hot minute, and then later we fight something that's bigger, then sure, I should get the choice. But it just, I feel like that's why it's a little bit like at the end of the day, it's like, what did this really do for us? But if I got to, constantly choose any variation, whether or not I wanted to use it as a mount or as a, like, a tiny, like, minion, I feel like that would be more creative over the course of playing the character than locking them into finding a very large creature, out the game. If you didn't have the ability to attack twice, you tune in. So Hecate did large or larger because they wanted the subclass to follow a big scary monster for fighting. Okay, so the idea was, and you have it, but again, it just prepping it at the beginning of this is going to be a large monster, but then being able to get the dragon, it's like my companion doesn't seem as useful if it's large, but also not going to be as powerful as the huge creature, right? It's just there's a bit of a disconnect in what am I really getting with this subclass versus, like, because again, I'm wondering once when I see the army subclass, right? Would I rather have an army, or do I want this custom individualized creature that's smart but also not always usable? So I guess gameplay. It really depends on gameplay.
So I'm interested because I'd be interested to how you would feel about something like because you kind of mentioned Pokemon vibes earlier. Imagine you could, like, when you attune this thing to the amulet, you could also send it into the amulet, meaning make it go away and it's stored inside this amulet until you need it again, and then you could summon it out whenever you needed it to. Like, that to me would make a world of difference.
Because if it could store, like, and then if it could store different ones, like, so again, you could have like a tiny one in there or a large one for combat, like have it situational.
That would be sick.
So not an army, but you can have like these unique servants ready to go. That would be interesting.
Oh, dude, imagine when you're doing this ritual, you're creating forms, and these forms are going inside of this amulet, and then your one summon that you have just has the ability to take different forms. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, hey, let me bring my summon out in the form of this great big beast, or let me bring the summon out in the form of this tiny little mouse, or into the form of this crow, or whatever the case may be. But regardless, just having the ability to desummon it at some point in time, so I don't have to worry about what people are going to look at. So if I am approaching this town and they see this giant undead thing walking next to me, everyone's not going to just freak out and be like, oh my gosh, like we have to go kill this guy, because they see me approaching. I could just put it away and be like, all right, let's go in and get some food and rest.
Yeah. And again, I feel like that may be also resolved by the fact that this leans more towards the setting and campaign Hecate has in mind. So we'll keep that in mind.
Sure.
So all right. So with this one, I like where this one's going. I love the idea of being able to pick and choose what creature you have. I just feel like I would, without the need for those other spells, I'd like a little bit more to it. That's like a little bit of a better capstone. And I know that you don't get the dragon till way late, but
sure,
you get this capstone right around the same time that this thing becomes immortal, right? So it's almost as if I spent all this time building up a unique creature, and then the first time I can summon the bone dragon, I might as well make the bone dragon my new unique undead and do all of that stuff to it, because it's a CR 17. Well, I guess you can't do that. You can permanently summon it, but you can't make it your unique undead because it's a CR 17. You can only have a CR 10. So it's like you have to have two.
That's true.
But once you can have the permanent dragon, I guess you just have two extra like attackers now. You just have the dragon and whatever you chose on the battlefield. And I guess if you really wanted to, I mean, choose, try to get something that's a mount, and really you benefit the most out of this. So yeah, I really like the idea. I think there's a lot to work with here. I'm really curious to see how this will. I'm curious because we have this one. We have the Grave Weaver, which is more of an army builder. I'm really curious what the last one's going to be. I don't know what that third one's going to be. If this is just a get one powerful creature and build it up, and another one's multiple creatures. What's that third option? I'm curious. But yeah, so this one's going to be. I will give it the inspiration point. I think that there's a lot to work with here. I think that there's some really cool ideas, but I do have to be consistent with the scoring. And because this does rely on two specific spells that are like setting dependent, I will have to knock a point off of that, just because it isn't, without those, it really doesn't have that universal feel. Oh, Soulkeeper. Interesting. Dude, lots of souls. Interesting. Necromancy with souls, but not with okay. I really want to know what that's all about. Is that more like spirits and ghosts and phantoms and shades, and not skeletons?
I can make that one next if you want.
Yeah. That sounds really cool. So yeah, so unfortunately I do have to take it away though, because without those like specific setting specific spells and built-in features, I do feel like that this is just, it's one step away. Like, now granted, again, if those were just written in, if it just says by taking this class, you gain the ability to cast these two spells once per day, not that don't count towards your spell level or the number of spells that would probably take that part away. But it does feel like those are a little bit necessary. So I will do that. So we'll have to give this one a 5. The inspiration point and the need for the spells kind of battle each other out. But again, that's compatibility. That's not quality. I really do like the upgrades that we got in Unique Undead Servant. I would have liked to have come back to this maybe more in the capstone. This, I think, would have been a little bit better to revisit. We have all these base modifications, but we could have turned that up a little bit. We could have given it maybe a secondary one of these. So, at the capstone, choose a second Graven. So you could have chosen strength first, but now you choose accuracy. So now you get both of those at the capstone. That would have been ideal.
I do love that. I love that.
And then, and what about Lingering Horror? If the creature has more than one trait, you can choose a second trait. So you give it a second enhancement and a second of its original traits. That something like that. That's all I'm saying is for the capstone, I would have loved to see just like really let me make sure this unique creature, you know, like can do like that would be interesting. But yeah, otherwise I think it's really fun. I'm so excited to finally see a working necromancer in D&D though. Like I will say I'm still really excited to be seeing this. The monstrous empowerments were really cool. The unholy regeneration still feels so devastating. Just 10 points every 6 seconds. Just tick, tick, get back health. That's absolute insanity, but I love it. Like,
so crazy.
Like, that's so cool. When you take this class, you get the spell list with it in your setting. And that's what I'm saying is like, without having to take everything that you've built for it, this just wouldn't be able to be plopped in as is into just anyone's game. That's what that score is meant for, is if it requires more than comes like with the base, then we have to take that into account. But I do if we have all those spells, I do want to make sure we go through all those spells.
Yeah, if you can send those to me, because I only have the 2 that
Send them all.
He just sent me just now. Yeah, if you give me that collection, I'll be sure to. I don't know if you want to do them separate or if you want to include it with one of the subclasses that we end up doing, but I think that would be great.
Or we can either do them each individually and just rate them as individual spells, or we would rate them as a collection as the necromancy spell list. So it would still be it would either be individual ratings or one giant rating based on, is this a good spell list for an entire class? Which actually would be kind of cool. That'd be the first time we've ever rated a spell list. That would be a first. And you should have the rest of it.
Because I do have a collection of spells. I do have a collection of spells on the docket for us to do. They're just 3rd level spells from Dez. Do you plan to rate those individually or as a collection?
Dez? It depends on what Dez wanted.
Yeah,
I think Dez wanted individual, because I don't think those are specific for a class. I was giving Hecate that option because like all of those spells are dedicated to a class. Hecate also says you should have all the spells in the book that we sent to her.
Okay, so
you have the whole. Hecate says you have the whole spell book.
I do have a whole spell book, and that was what I was looking at earlier.
That should have all of them in there.
Come here.
That might be what we have to review later, or actually go through and figure out.
The question becomes, see, it was open. I knew it was open. In here you have cantrips, and you have spell levels 1 through 9.
Be right back.
And then you have vampiric spells, you have ice spells, you have fire spells, and you have curse spells, and you have demonic spells. So I didn't see anything that indicated there were specific necromancy spells. So I assumed that none of these collections went specifically with this subclass. But I'm going to look through here real quick, and I want to see if I can find, at the very least, that 1st level spell that you showed me. Hold on. It was called Animate Lesser Undead. These are not alphabetical. So I don't see that here. Let me see if I can just search the whole document.
Oh, Hecate says that they were supposed to be after vampiric spells, but they may have forgotten them, so they're going to send them separate. So you'll get them as a separate list, it looks like.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Okay,
awesome.
Good. I just want to make sure I wasn't tripping, because I did look for them in there, and I just did not see them.
Yeah, we're going to get cantrips, 2 9th level spells. They have a whole series of vampiric spells and necrotic spells. So we should have quite a bit of work ahead of us, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Oh, well, that was pretty good, though. Good review. Thank you, Hecate, for submitting. What we got next week?
Next week, up on the list, let's take a gander. we are going to have another Pokeniner. We have something called the Rune Grave, which is a Warlock subclass.
Wow, a lot of grave stuff. Okay, apparently this is just that time of year.
Hey man,
is it October already?
A month and a half, 2 months till the ever famous October.
Yeah. All right. Well, Rune Grave Warlock subclass, fantastic. That's going to be next week. We'll make sure that Pokémon knows that. What did that was? Oh, and that was officially community review number 140. 140th review.
Nice. Well, the way it's looking, well, actually, we've got a lot from Hecate that I can add in there because I don't have all of his individual spell lists in there.
I must be in a mood recently. My last couple of scores have been pretty harsh. Either I'm in a mood or we're reviewing some older things, because I feel like my last few reviews have been. I'm just looking at my scores here. I'm just like, I'm going through this. I'm like, okay, so 7, 6, 8, 6, 9, 6, 8, 5, 3, 5.
We have hills and we have valleys. All right. Sometimes we get some low ones. Sometimes we get some high ones. We just got a lot less low ones because most of the stuff people submit are actually really freaking good.
I mean, we got a good community. We got a lot of smart people who know how to balance well. So
absolutely,
what can I say? A lot of good. I mean, there's a lot of good compatibility stuff in here. That's great. One of these days, I will actually sit down and use some of my data analytics proficiencies that I've gained over the years, and I'll actually like graph all of this out and actually chart it. I can do like a moving graph where it actually shows like a rolling average, so we can actually see live like who goes in what place based on their average, and just it's called a race chart.
Cool.
It's where you actually see them like change over time. But yeah, I can graph this out in a bunch of different ways now that we have 140 pieces. How many do you still have the notes from the OG reviews, right?
What do you mean?
Like do you still have a count of how many? Because we eventually scrubbed off all non-community submissions.
Oh yeah, I still have those.
I'm just curious, how many of those were there? Because we've done 140 community reviews, but how many reviews have we done? Like how many reviews were non-communities?
Let's see. All I have to do is untick viewer submission, and hey, look at all these guys.
So yeah, I'm really curious how many like total reviews we've had at this point, because we had a lot of non-community reviews for a while.
Including TikTok, D&D Beyond, and one of my players that I submitted on their behalf. I will say there were 24 other submissions.
Oh wow, that's it. 24. That's it. Only 24 other reviews, including the high, like with all
the last non-submission was submission 50. The last non-viewer submitted submission was
submission
51. 51.
Jeez, we've just like, and we're on 140. So yeah, like that's insane that we've done. We're like so far beyond those days.
Yep.
Oh, that's phenomenal. This is great though. Yeah, one of these days I'll do something with all of this data, and we'll see what's up.
Absolutely.
Give some people some documentation. But otherwise, no, that was fun. I'm really glad for that one. Can't wait for some more. I don't know what is coming up this Friday. I know last week I was streaming one of my new games. I have like a new platformer game that I've been kind of addicted to.
So, love me some platforming.
Yeah, Lucky Tower Ultimate. It used to be a Flash game, so it's a very old school style platformer. Like has the feel of it, but it's all modernized and updated. But it's kind of like Noida, where it's not permadeath in the sense that like there are things between runs, but you only get one chance, and if you don't do it on that run, like then you have to reset. But you have like every time you go through, you have to do iterations. Like you have like every time you go through, you have to like
a roguelike kind of.
Kind of, yeah. It's really fun. It's just one of those things where kind of like Noida, the more you play, the more you learn, and the more you learn, the better the game is. It's I forget what they call it, but like it's a game of knowledge. Like it only gets better the more you know about it. So, and there's very few. Cool. There's no wikis. There's hardly any information on the game. So it really is. It's over a year old, and it's really like actually difficult to learn and go through. But it's legit. I like it. It's really not.
I love the challenge.
Let's see. Harley Quinn Race Player's Guide. I don't know about for a stream. That might be a little bit too much, but if you want to post it in Discord, I'm sure we'll both peruse your player's guide. I'd be very interested to see a player's guide written from a DM about their own home setting. I usually do like sit down sessions for my my player's guide.
That's valid. I would like a reference guide for myself, right? Because I've got a lot of stuff, but like being able to like be like, hey, like certain basic things. Like I have some like house rules that are like easy to remember, even if it's just like a handout or a page or something like that. It doesn't have to be like a whole book, but
I really need to do that with my digital character sheets. Now that I'm going to be doing the intro here soon. For the friends group, I need to basically have that as like a tab on the character sheet where you can just like quick reference, kind of like your own DM screen, like a player screen.
Yep, exactly.
Basics. So, all right, cool. Well, I got no other updates for everybody else. Everything's kind of on pause until I get more money.
Sweet.
We're not making enough money. That's all I can say. So I have to.
Not yet, friends.
Not yet. So. TBD on OSR, TBD on the Saber stream. It's all just waiting for money. So until then, we'll be back on Friday with something. I'm sure we'll do something on Friday. We still have to figure out what day or what week we're gonna try out a different stream day. But I'm sure that will be coming soon.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got, y'all. So I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Hope you guys have a great week ahead of you. We'll be back on Friday, maybe with some D&D content, maybe with some games. Who knows? But we'll be back on next Monday with a review. So stick around until then. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Hecate, we will take a look at your player's guide here shortly and give you some feedback if I have any. But otherwise, have a good rest of your night, y'all. We'll see you on Friday. Cheers.
Deuces, my friends.